Yes, good evening, folks. Welcome back to Celtic Fans TV. It's starting 11 prediction time for tomorrow's clash against Hibs at Celtic Park. We come in off the back of that 3-1 victory in Perth against St Johnston on Sunday. It was a tale of two halves, I suppose. I don't think we were absolutely scintillating in the second half, but we were much, much better. And I think Brendan Rodgers' thoughts on the first half kind of summed it up for us all, really. It's rare that a manager is so frank after a game and says much of what the supporters were thinking. So often managers will give a mediated response in these post-match press conferences, but I think he was really honest. I don't think he was happy with the team in that first half, and there was no reason why he should have been happy. I think we were miles off it, but he did get a response. And as I say, we scored 3 excellent goals and came away with an important victory, but still, last minute of the game, Joe Hart has to make a save before we go up the park and make it 3-1. It felt like a big win for us because I think we were under par on the day, turned it round second half, coming from behind. It felt like a big victory, and you have these going through seasons, particularly if you're going to go on and win the title, you need to have games like that. But I think we still need to see a better overall performance from the team. This video is sponsored by William Hill, Celtic's official betting partner. We've teamed up with William Hill to bring you some great prizes throughout the rest of this season. You can check out all the match odds for tomorrow's game by clicking the link in the description. As always, 18 plus, please visit begambleaware.org. Hibs are in good form coming into this game. They've had 3 wins on the bounce. The last victory at the weekend was a 2-0 win over Aberdeen. We obviously dropped points in the game at Easter Road. 0-0 it was on the day. That came 3 days after the 2-2 draw against Atletico Madrid, and we looked off it. We had one of those performances that we've had from time to time this season where we were slow, we let the game drift away from us, and there was only real urgency in the last 10-15 minutes, and it wasn't enough to get us the points. It was really interesting to listen again to Brendan Rodgers in the pre-match press conference for this game. A lot of questions focusing on that half-time team talk, and he's invited those on himself by saying it was the most angry he's been in his managerial career so far at half-time. So, you know, the press are going to pounce on that and they're going to ask a lot of questions around that. But again, here's what he said. I think this echoes a lot of what us fans watching in the last couple of weeks have been thinking. He said that Celtic is a club where you can't go through the motions, and we went through the motions in the first half. We don't want to waste any time in the game. We want to be intense right from the kickoff. So off the back of that, I hope that we do see a more intense approach, a quicker start to the game. Tomorrow we're back at home, and having had that 0-0 draw at Easter Road, we know that Hibs can stifle it. They can run the clock down, they can make life difficult for us, but only if we allow it. And back at Celtic Park, we have to start the game really quickly. We've got to start the game with the intensity that we had probably after 60 minutes in the game against St Johnston. There's a 10-20 minute period where we really built momentum, created chances, but as I say, too often recently, we've left that till late in the second half, and that can't happen. We can't sustain that. We can't go through the motions in the first half and hope to rescue it late on in the game. That won't happen every week. We scored 3 excellent goals. I think McGregor and O'Reilly's in particular were excellent goals. They were both from, McGregor's for the edge area, O'Reilly's from just outside the box. You can't rely on quality strikes like that week in and week out. The performance level has to rise, and I think the tempo of the game has to get much better. That's what we'll want to do right from the word go tomorrow. And I think we'll have to against the Hibs team in good form. And you can see going along the banner at the bottom of the screen now, Brendan Rodgers has a worse record against Hibs than any other club currently in the Scottish Premiership during his time at Celtic. I think it's 3 wins from 8 games against them. So we want to be right at it for the word go tomorrow and hopefully get another important win. Right, let's get to the team then. And as always, we will start in goals with the much maligned Joe Hart. He was at fault again for that St Johnston goal. Wasn't strong enough. I don't think his defence helped him. I think O'Reilly could have done a lot better with the clearance. I think O'Reilly could have been stronger as well. There's also a case to say that Scales could have been stronger when the ball's lingering in the air and you're a centre half, you want to go and be aggressive and try and win it. Taylor's involved as well. It's another similar to the goal we lost against Motherwell, where Taylor's sandwiched between Joe Hart and an opposition attacker, and St Johnston managed to scramble over the line. Brendan Rodgers said we were soft. and at that goal, and I agree with him. I think we have to get so much better at defending set pieces. I think we have to improve in goals. I think that's the position that we talked about in the summer that the club should have looked at. I think it should be a priority for us, but I think the coaching staff have to take some responsibility for the setup at these set pieces. I know we don't have a big, strong physical side. That's not the makeup of this Celtic squad, and that's perhaps a weakness for us as well. But how we set up at corners is a problem for us. We're seeing it week in and week out now, where there's pressure on the goalkeeper. The ball's coming right in on top of him because teams know they can exploit it. We've got to look at that. We've got to improve it. Right back, I'm going Johnston. Grew in the game on Sunday. It was important in the second half for us. Carter-Vickers and Scales and Taylor to complete the back four. There wasn't many good performances across the pitch, particularly in the first 60 minutes. I think it was interesting to hear Rodgers say that Nawrocki and Lagerbielke need to prove to him in training that they're worthy of a place back in the squad. He says Scales has come in and done well and that it's effectively his position. I would like to see someone like Nawrocki reintroduced. I thought he looked promising in the first few games of the season. I know that Liam Scales has performed above a level where we thought he was capable of. I don't think that means he's the undisputed number one centre-half to partner Carter-Vickers for the rest of the season. I think he was at fault for the 2 goals against Lazio. As I say, I think he could do a bit better for that goal we lost against St Johnstone at the weekend as well. So I don't think it should just be an open and shut case that Liam Scales is now the first choice in that position. I think we need to monitor it going forward, and I think if we have a better player there, whether it be Nawrocki, I know Lagerbielke struggled in the game time that he's had so far, but I think we need to be cautious not to just trundle along in certain positions on the pitch because we get away with it most weeks. We have to try and be the best we can be. Going into midfield, McGregor, O'Reilly, and for some reason I'm going with Bernardo to start a league game tomorrow. Turnbull got the nod at the weekend. We do have this strange situation where Bernardo has started a few European games but always drops out in the league. I don't think he got any minutes on Sunday against St Johnstone. Iwata came on, had a good impact in the game, set up the third goal. It's just difficult to make a case for Iwata starting a game because you're talking about displacing McGregor for that position, and I know some people think you can move McGregor further forward, but you forget as the years go by, Callum McGregor's getting older, and he won't be as effective further up the pitch like he was when Brendan Rodgers was here in his first spell. So I'm going with Bernardo. I don't think Turnbull had a great outing, and again, I think that's an area of the team, that position, that is chopping and changing. You could argue the pros and cons of trying to keep some continuity there, but I think Bernardo might get the nod. I'd like to make a case for Iwata, but as I say, I can't. O'Reilly, brilliant goal. McGregor, brilliant goal. First half, really poor. I thought McGregor was uncharacteristically poor in that first half, actually. But to his credit, he came back and he performed in the second half, and he got a vital goal at a really important time to get the team level. So that's who I think the midfield three will be tomorrow. And in the front three, I've had to dig out the graphic for Mikey Johnston. I'm going Lewis Palma on the left-hand side and Kyogo. Up front, Mikey Johnston, I think, had a really good impact on the game on Sunday. I think in flashes, and when he's come on in recent games like Lazio, you could even argue against Hibs when he was first reintroduced, he put in a better performance than the winger that he replaced in each of those games. And I don't think anybody can make a case for Yang staying in the team at the minute. He was really poor in that first half, and I don't want to make him a scapegoat, but he's miles off it from where he needs to be to perform in this team just now. I know we're missing Maid and we're missing Abada, but he's not cutting it right now, Yang. And I think Mikey Johnston has done enough, particularly in the game at the weekend, in terms of how he influenced it, how direct he was. I know the end product at times still has to get a lot better, but he was a real positive influence on the team and he helped us turn the game around, and I think that should be enough to get him a start tomorrow. Palma, I thought, was much better in the second half when O came on, and he started to get more space out wide, put in a few dangerous deliveries. I would just like a bit more variety in Palma's play. He's been really good, and we know he's got an abundance of technical ability. He's a goal getter, but I would like to see a bit more variety when he's one-on-one against a fullback. I don't want him to constantly come inside onto his right foot and try and drift a ball to the back post or come inside for the shot. I'd like to see him use Taylor on the overlap much more often, and I'd like to see him take a defender on the outside as well. I think I can only remember once that he did it in the second half, against St Johnston on Sunday, but it keeps the defender guessing. I think sometimes he's too easy to read coming inside all the time. And I think he's got enough technical ability to go onto his left foot, try and beat somebody and get across into the box that way. Kyogo having a difficult period in terms of goals. Had one great chance at the weekend when McGregor slides him in at 1-0. The goalkeeper's out on top of him and he should maybe just try and dink it over him. But it sets up the goal for O'Reilly. Nice touch and pass quickly to get out his feet, and O'Reilly done the rest obviously. But I think we need to get better service to Kyogo, and I think playing at a high tempo is the key to that. I've talked a lot about it through this video, and obviously the manager has as well recently. We can all see that we're not playing at a quick enough tempo at the minute, generally speaking. So I think we know the changing system hasn't maybe helped Kyogo, the changing style. But I think if we have to get him in the game, get him more involved and get him more chances, that's the most important thing. Can we get him more chances in front of goal? Because we know that he's brilliant in front of goal. He's an instinctive goal scorer. He's a great finisher, but we need to get him more chances. We need to get him more service, and with goals, his confidence will come back. I think Go had a positive influence in the game. As I say, I don't think he's going to start tomorrow. I think again he's a good option off the bench. He's making good impacts off the bench recently. And he's there again tomorrow as an option if we need him. So there you go. That's the lineup I think the manager will go with. Like this video, comment with your own thoughts below. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. We only need 390 subscribers, or 390 odd subscribers to reach that 40,000 landmark. There'll be more than 300 of you watching this video right now who aren't subscribed. All you have to do is log in, click the red subscribe button. It's absolutely free. We'll see you tomorrow outside Celtic Park after the game with the full-time reaction. Thank you.